Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, like, join it or something.
Hey guys, so guess what? It's the time of day for me to go to a cinema, and today guys, I want to be watching The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I really can't wait to watch this, I'm so excited. Yeah, I've got my ticket and everything, so yeah. But it's not time yet, so I'm going to listen to some music on my phone, and then when it's time to go, I'm going to head out, and if anyone tries to disturb me, then don't worry, because I've locked the door. What the? Oh, it's locked. Oh, better luck next time, guys. You know what? Maybe I could warn him when he's about to go watch The Force Awakens for the first time. Hopefully that'll work. Oh, is that time? Oh dear, I best get going, guys. I better not be late, so yeah. I'll see you guys later. Why did I lock the door when I was listening to my music? My future self could have warned me about what I was about to go watch. Oh, God. Hey, everyone. Lucimus Prime here. So, as you just saw by the intro of back in 2014, I am going to be ranting about a superhero movie that I saw in 2014, and this is also, sadly, the first Spider-Man film I ever saw in a cinema, guys, and that is none other than, of course, 2014's The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh my god. This is just not how you should do a Spider-Man movie, in my opinion. Like, I remember watching this at the cinema, guys, and I remember not liking it at all, really, you know, and while it may not have been as bad, slightly, as other Marvel movies I've ranted about, which I hate, this movie flat out sucked. Like, I remember watching this at the cinema, guys, and I walked out because something really bad happened in the ending, which I'll be ranting about in a moment. And yeah, because myself and my family were all disappointed with the ending, and yeah, we all walked out at it. And I watched the rest of the ending on YouTube when it came out on YouTube, and yeah, I didn't really miss much, and you'll get to why. And sadly, in order to do this trash talk of a movie, guys, I rewatched it because I bought it on Blu-ray to rewatch. And guess what? I still hate it just as much as I did when I saw it at the cinema and walked out. So, yeah. Now, there's probably going to be maybe some good things about this movie, maybe a few redeeming qualities, I mean, yeah. But yeah, this movie just still sucks, guys, in my opinion, yeah. Literally says here, his greatest battle begins on the cover. There's no way this was his greatest battle. This was definitely not his greatest battle, no way. That to me always will be his favourite Doctor Octopus on the train in Spider-Man 2. So yeah. Now, what is good about this movie? So, I guess probably the only good thing about this movie is the performances by Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. Yeah, in my opinion, they were probably the only best part of the movie, and they still had great chemistry with each other. And it did feel realistic like the first movies because, you know, they were, of course, dating in real life. So, yeah, it felt very authentic. And also, the swinging scenes were also fine to watch. And the scenes where Spider-Man is stopping some crimes in a montage is also good. And so, yeah. And also, Stan Lee's cameo, may rest in peace, is also really funny to watch as well. And, yeah, very nice to see at the start of the movie. And also, one other thing that I do also like, guys, this is probably the only thing I prefer in this movie over the previous movie, and that's probably, of course, the design of Spider-Man's suit, because, yeah, this suit bears a stronger resemblance to a suit from the comics, and, yeah, I think it's definitely an improvement compared to a suit from the first movie, because in my review for the first movie, you guys will remember that I said that I didn't really like how it looked like a knockoff of a Raimi suit a little bit. So, yeah, I like how this suit did something different and looks more like a comic suit, which I'm happy about, and, yeah, this was definitely a great suit. Although, I, of course, prefer Andrew wearing it in No Way Home over this trash movie, so, yeah. And now, on to the absolute bad qualities of this movie. So I'm going to get a cat out of the bag, guys, and say that my biggest problem with this movie is this movie barely at all feels like a Spider-Man movie. Because, yeah, despite this movie, you know, being titled The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and having Spider-Man on the poster, the movie barely even focuses on Spider-Man. Like, because this movie pretty much has similar problems to Spider-Man 3, but only this time it does them much worse, because Because at least Spider-Man 3 was a Spider-Man movie and focused on Spider-Man, whereas this movie does not. It doesn't focus on Spider-Man. It instead focuses on setting up a shared Sony Marvel universe. And that was just so dumb. Like, I was not there to watch a shared universe set up movie. I'm only here to see Spider-Man being the superhero that he is. So I was very angry about that. And the movie doesn't even know who to focus on, which is just stupid. And it has far too many subplots involving villains, so it's very hard to stay focused on the story because it makes no sense whatsoever. Like, this movie was only made just purely for sequel baiting and, like, spin-off baiting. It's just ridiculous. And, of course, all this setting up was absolutely pointless in the end because this movie didn't even do well at the box office because it didn't even earn $1 billion internationally. So all of these planned things got cancelled. So, yeah, and probably with good reason, too, because, yeah, this movie should have just focused on Spider-Man because it's a Spider-Man movie. And also, when it comes to the villains of the movie, guys, so this movie once again makes the same mistake Spider-Man 3 did with having 3 villains and 3 subplots, so it's hard to focus on. But there's a difference between the villains in this and the villains in Spider-Man 3 because with Spider-Man 3, there was only one villain I hated, which was Venom, whereas I liked Sandman and Harry Osborn's New Goblin. Whereas in this movie, guys, I hated all 3 villains, which of course Electro, and also Harry Osborn becoming the Green Goblin, and the Rhino. Electro was a very weak villain in this movie, guys, and yeah, and I sadly consider it to be the worst role of Jamie Foxx I've seen. Thankfully, he redeemed himself in No Way Home, but this movie was just a disaster from start to finish for Electro, because Electro, guys, in this movie, he's basically just a clone of the Riddler from Batman Forever, because both of them are scientists working for a company, you know, associated with the main character, and they're both nobodies. So, yeah. And that's not a good thing to do, because Batman Forever, in my opinion, is not even a good movie, to be honest. It's just a mediocre mess. So, yeah, they shouldn't have done this to Electro. In addition, guys, they also went for the Ultimate Comics route with Electro by making him look like that, and I strongly prefer his green costume with, you know, the yellow helmet, guys, over, you know, his blue design. And not to mention, you know, his design in this was just cringe to look at. It really was. He looked like a Dr. Manhattan knockoff and was ridiculous. In addition, the way he gets his powers in this movie is so unfavourable to the comics, because in the comics, he gets his powers from trying to save an electrician on a high-tension pole, which gets struck by lightning. Whereas in this film, he falls into a pool of electric eels. So, yeah, that was just, you know, so stupid. So, yeah, don't get me wrong, guys, Jamie Foxx is a great actor, but this movie definitely damaged his career for some time, because this movie probably, I think, alongside the Annie remake, I think damaged his career. He didn't appear again until a movie in 2017, and thankfully he redeemed himself as Electro in No Way Home, because that movie treated him much better in my opinion. But yeah, my favourite role of his always will be Django from Django Unchained, and my favourite Electro to this day, guys, always will be Crispin Freeman's Spectacular Spider-Man. That's my favourite Electro. So yeah, Electro was just so bad in this, guys, and because of the problem I had about it not knowing what to focus on, you know, he didn't have much screen time, sadly. And then also as well, another villain I definitely hated was Harry Osborn, because like Electro, he was very underused, and also his Green Goblin design was pure cringe to look at. Looked absolutely hideous. And he was also very laughably bad, nowhere near as menacing as James Franco's version from Spider-Man 3. Or if we talk about Green Goblin entirely in media, definitely nowhere near as menacing or as iconic as Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn's Green Goblin in the Raimi trilogy. And there's also a very ridiculous plot hole with regards to Harry, guys, because it's revealed that he was best friends with Peter, but in the first movie, Peter never mentioned Harry at all. So yeah, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's just so stupid. And like, Harry's introduced for the first time in this franchise, and he immediately turned into a Green Goblin. So they really rushed and ruined Harry's story in this movie, so yeah. Honestly, I couldn't stand Harry's movie, guys. And then on to probably the #1 worst thing we did in this movie, guys, which was probably none other than, let me show you, Rhino. Yeah, because as well as Electro and Harry, guys, they also really ruined Rhino. So yeah, like, honestly, what actually happened? What the hell happened with Rhino? Like, he was totally unnecessary and was just an annoying setup for future installments in this, you know, shared universe setups. Like, And also, they were also extremely unfair to comics because unlike the comics, guys, he's just Alexei Mikhailsevich wearing a mech suit. And it literally looks like a knockoff of either a rejected Transformer design or the Iron manga from Iron Man 2008. Oh my god. Yeah. And also, he was also very laughably bad, guys. Just a very laughably bad performance. And I sadly consider it to be the worst role of Paul Giamatti. Because, yeah, these actors all deserve better, guys. Jamie Foxx and Dane DeHaan. Dane DeHaan, guys, I like far better in the Wild West movie called The Kid. And Paul Giamatti, I do like in other things and stuff like that. But as Rhino, he was so annoying. And also, as well, when it comes to, you know, screen time, he probably had the least screen time out of the villains because he only appears at the beginning and the end of a movie. So, what an absolute waste of Rhino. And also, that also means there's false advertising because, yeah, notice how he's on the DVD cover of my Blu-ray, guys, and also on other posters, yeah. He appears on lots of posters, but he's hardly in the movie, all at the beginning and the end. So, yeah, that's very misleading right there, isn't it? That's just so stupid. In addition, guys, another character who is, you could say, somewhat is a villain also appears, but is also very badly wasted. And that's, of course, Norman Osborn, who I believe was played by Chris Cooper, I think it is. Yeah, Chris Cooper. And, oh my god. Yeah, they absolutely wasted Norman, guys. Because compared to the very iconic portrayal from Raymond Trilogy by Willem Dafoe, Norman was absolutely incredibly wasted in this movie. Really was. Because in this movie, guys, he appears for like only one scene where he's dying from an illness as an old man. And yeah, and that's it. That's all you get of Norman. Completely wasted, barely screen time whatsoever. So yeah, like, why didn't they make him become a Green Goblin? Yeah, they really ruined Norman Osborn in this movie, guys. Goodness me. So aside from the terrible villains, guys, and the whole shared universe stupidity, other things I also hated was also probably the tone, because compared to the first movie, guys, which I, as I touched upon in my reviews, think is the most underrated Spider-Man movie of all time, that movie was serious and knew what it was going to be, a Spider-Man movie, and was pretty, you know, dark at times because it knew what it was trying to be. Whereas this movie, for some weird reason, feels, you know, like some sort of, you know, like cartoon movie for some weird reason. I don't get that. There's too much humour, and that just makes it even more stupid. Like, I don't know what happened with this movie, guys. And as I thought about with villains, the plot is overstuffed and there's way too many characters to focus on. And many results get wasted. Not just villains, guys, but even supporting characters like, for example, they introduced Felicia Hardy, who would later, of course, be Black Cat, played by Felicity Jones, and she's wasted. So yeah, I feel bad for Felicity Jones, guys. I mean, she was good with her few scenes, but I like her far better as Jyn Erso in Rogue One, and also in The Theory of Everything, you know, the pick about Stephen Hawking. But yeah, she did her better in this movie, she really did. And they also wasted Colm Feore as Donald Mencken. They also wasted him as well. Poor him. And when it comes to other characters that are also wasted, guys, but we even got some cameos as well by Dennis Leary appearing as George Stacy in some hallucinations to Spider-Man. So yeah, didn't even say a word in what cameos say. What an absolute waste of Dennis Leary. What a waste of him. And yeah, it was just, you know, so stupid in my opinion, guys. Oh my god. And the movie also, it has way too many Easter eggs and references which are just like to set up other things. For example, if you pay attention to the things at Oscorp, you can actually see a piece of Venom symbiote, guys, and also a piece of like other gadgets from Spider-Man villains. Of like, I think I saw some wings, maybe something like that, maybe hinted towards a vulture. And yeah, it's just, you know, so stupid, really, guys. And also as well, the opening of the movie, guys, is also dumb because it opens with Peter Parker's parents leaving and you know, and getting killed by an assassin on a plane that crashes. And that was just absolutely pointless because we already know what's happened to them. So yeah, that entire opening contributed absolutely nothing to the story. You could literally cut that out of the story and it wouldn't change a thing. I'd rather just open it with Spider-Man swinging at the start of the movie. There's also tons of product placement everywhere, guys. That was No Tomorrow. And they also cut a disappointing... There's also a scene that I was disappointed we got cut, which of course showed Harry as the Green Goblin terrorising Oscorp and killing Mencken. So, like, why do they cut that? It could have shown, you know, maybe, you know, Dane DeHaan could have had a chance to play, you know, a much better Green Goblin if his scenes got restored, but, you know, sadly not, it got deleted. There's also pretty dumb deleted scene, which I'm going to get to now, Because, you know how I talked about the plane crash? You know, there's actually a pretty dumb scene, guys, where Peter's at a grave, you know, I think, you know, mourning, you know, a death, which I'll be getting on to. Yeah, I think it's the death of who, you know, I'm talking about, which made me walk out of the cinema, I think. And he's mourning, and then all of a sudden, guys, out of nowhere, his dad Richard appears, somehow surviving a plane crash, and it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. So, like, how did he survive? That makes no sense at all. I think people have all arguing about the lead scene was Andrew's acting, and that was it. That lead scene was just stupid. Speaking of, you know, Richard Parker's flashback scene with a plane crash, you know, there was also product placement gone wrong, because he's seen using a laptop called a Sony Vaio. Yeah, I think it's called a Sony Vaio. And that didn't even exist in 2000, so that's just ridiculous. In addition, guys, the movie also doesn't even mention or feature an appearance from Uncle Ben's killer. So yeah, that basically leaves Uncle Ben's murder story, you know, or anticlimactic, because they don't close the story like they did in Raimi trilogy. So that's just stupid. Honestly, it's just ridiculous. There was also, and when it comes to advertising, guys, the trailers also spoiled a lot of this movie as well, which is just ridiculous. And yeah, oh my god. And when I was watching the movie, guys, rewatching it, I got pretty bored. Like, this movie, guys, is shorter than Spider-Man No Way Home by about 6 minutes. 6. And it feels way longer than No Way Home. Like, because compared to No Way Home, which had excellent pacing, this movie feels like it's about 3 hours long because of how boring it is. Like, and also, guys, one other thing that I also didn't really like about this movie was probably the music. Because, yeah, this was sadly composed by one of her composers of all time, Hans Zimmer, alongside a group of other composers who are collectively called Magnificent Six, which consists of people like Pharrell Williams, Johnny Marr, Mike Einziger, Junkie XL, Steve Mazzara, and Andrew Korzinski. And the thing about this music is, you know, while it is very well composed, guys, it sounds really cartoonic. And that also helps reinforce the idea of this movie being like a live-action cartoon movie, which is just ridiculous. And, like, for example, Electro's theme in particular sounds really cartoonic, and I don't get that. Especially when, you know, he uses, you know, that power plant to play music, which is, of course, in Twenty Spider. So, yeah, like, really? So that's why, guys, I very strongly prefer James Horner's score from the first movie, May He Rest in Peace. His music was far better than this. Way better. And extremely underrated, in my opinion. Very underrated. Like, honestly, this movie just absolutely sucks, guys. And honestly, probably the big bad thing about this movie, the part that made me walk out of the cinema when I first saw it back in 2014, guys. And if you see the movie, you're probably going to easily guess what made me walk out. Well, if you guessed that it was Gwen's death, you couldn't be any more right. Because, yeah, that's what made me walk out. Like, because when that happened, guys, I was like, are you serious? And, like, seeing Spider-Man heartbroken, I was done. I couldn't take it seriously anymore. That's why, you know, the family was all disappointed, so we left. We left the cinema at that scene, extremely disappointed that it came to this, like, because that death scene was not needed at all. Badly rushed, and was not needed in the slightest. They should have saved it for a future installment. Would have been way better if they saved it for a future installment. Oh my god. Like, and they even made a reference to a comics in that scene, because, yeah, if you guys may where it takes place in a clock tower, right? And when, you know, Gwen hits the ground and she dies from the impact, the clock stops at a certain time, which is, of course, 121, which is a reference to issue 121, which I believe is the issue where Gwen died, I think. So, yeah. And while there's a pretty decent reference, yeah, that death scene shouldn't have happened at all. I mean, it was very well acted by Andrew, because he showed pure heartbreak in that scene, because he's a phenomenal actor, guys, he truly is, but that death scene was not needed in the slightest. So, yeah, like, I was furious, and I saw the ending of the movie on YouTube when it came out afterwards, and then I, of course, you know, saw the ending last night when I rewatched it, and I'm really glad I walked out, because I didn't miss much, at least enough to keep me going, because, yeah, it was just pure sequel baiting, where Harry meets the man in the shadows from the first movie, you know, played by Michael Massey, may rest in peace, and they also rumour the man in the shadows because he's reduced to being a generic mastermind villain, and there's no explanation as to how he's worked for Harry, and how he knows about Peter and his father and Dr. Connors from the first movie, Yeah, and he of course frees Rhino off from prison, and he gives him that stupid mech suit, which is just Ironmonger or Transformer rip-off. And yeah, oh my god. And the ending, of course, shows Rhino rampaging through the streets, and then Spider-Man appears. And, you know, he stops that kid called Joe from getting harmed. You know, Joe was a fine addition to the story, guys, you know, and Spider-Man scenes where he interacts with him and he stops the bullies hurting Joe was definitely, you know, a very nice scene. It shows how great of a Spider-Man actor Andrew is. But yeah, they should have probably included more scenes with Joe the kid and less of the villains, maybe. That'd have probably been a good idea. And also, of course, improve the villains too. So yeah, like, honestly. And the ending is just pure sequel baiting because it ends on a cliffhanger with Spider-Man about to fight Rhino. And that's it. That's where the movie ends, guys. So yeah, I didn't miss much when I walked out, and thankfully, you know, I didn't stay behind to see it happen. So yeah. Honest to God, like, just what happened with this movie, guys? This was just absolutely ridiculous. Easily, in my opinion, the worst Spider-Man movie of all time, but I don't even think it's a Spider-Man movie. It's just a Sony Marvel movie, really. Because it barely feels like a Spider-Man movie compared to the others. I mean, yeah. Because while I'm not really a big fan of Spider-Man Homecoming, I think that's the second worst Spider-Man movie when I look back at it. At least that movie did focus on Spider-Man and had one great villain being the Vulture. But this movie just had all bad villains, in my opinion, and didn't even focus on Spider-Man. So, yeah. Screw this movie all the way, guys. And, yeah. I'm probably never going to rewatch it again, guys. Maybe not. But if I am to rewatch it, guys, I'm only going to rewatch it just to see the scenes with Andrew and Emma, because they're probably the only best thing about a movie. And yeah. And thankfully, guys, you know, at least Andrew's career wasn't you know, destroyed because 2 years after this movie, guys, he of course starred in Mel Gibson's war movie Hacksaw Ridge, and thankfully that saved his career because that movie was just bloody amazing. I love that movie. And he's appeared in other great things, I mean, because he's a great actor, guys. If you want to see proof how great of an actor he is, then I'd recommend, you know, checking out Hacksaw Ridge, as I just talked about, and also checking out Tick Tick Boom and also The Social Network. And yeah, there's probably other great things he's been in as well, because he's a great actor. And I'm also at least glad that in No Way Home, Spider-Man got his redemption because he saved Michelle Jones from falling, which he couldn't do with Gwen, so yeah. And I really hope that Andrew gets a third movie to repair the damage done by this movie. I really hope he gets a third movie. Because, yeah, because as I said on my review for the first movie, guys, if Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland can have trilogies, then so can Andrew. You know, he deserves, you know, his own trilogy. So, yeah. Hopefully the third movie will repair the damage done by this movie. I really hope. And Andrew has said that he's open to returning if it feels right. So, yeah. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, guys, this is still, in my opinion, the worst Spider-Man movie of all time. I hate this movie to this day. And yeah, rewatching it further helped cement my hate for a movie. So yeah, because I rewatched it to refresh my memory on it, because I've not seen this since theatres. So yeah, I rewatched it and I still hate it to this day, guys. So yeah. So, if I was to rate The Amazing Spider-Man 2 out of 10, guys, I'm probably going to give it probably maybe like, mainly because only with Andrew and Emma, and I guess probably Sally Field is also still great as Aunt May, in my opinion. Ian Walsh didn't have very much screen time in this compared to the first movie. I'm probably going to give this movie probably 4 out of 10. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10, guys, for that. Only because of, you know, Andrew, Emma, Aunt May, and also the swinging scenes and Stan Lee's cameo, Spider-Man stopping crime and montage, and his scenes with Joe the kid. And yeah. But that's pretty much about it, really. As far as I'm concerned, this is still, in my opinion, the worst Spider-Man movie of all time, yeah. So, guys, this is me doing my trash talk for The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 2014. So, you know, drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to comments what you guys think of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Tell me what you think of it in the comments below. Also, be sure to join Team Plan by pressing subscribe for movies coming in the future. If you'd like to be a member, you can join using a piece of lads or in the description. And with great power comes great responsibility.